Hey guys, Cameron with Hope2K9. This video is to talk about remote collars and the specific product that we primarily use here at Hope2K9. I wanted to share with you a little bit of information about what it's like to just simply get the product out of the box and set up for your dog, and also to understand exactly how it works. If you're unfamiliar with Hope2K9 and what we do, I'm a balance trainer based in Vista, California, and you can check out more information at our website, which is Hope2K9.com. So if you didn't come here from the site, check out the notes below and it'll direct you to the website where we have a lot of details about our services and tips and tricks that we share through the blog or our social media links. Definitely check us out on Facebook and follow us for more training information and support there on Instagram and Facebook. We have primarily moved towards remote collars because we find they're the best tool. They're the easiest, most consistent tool for communicating with the dog. We use them on dogs that are super young puppies that just need basic obedience and off-leash control, all the way up through dogs that are 120 pounds with significant behavioral problems, aggression towards dogs, towards people, nervousness, fear, you name it. Remote collar training actually offers us the most consistent and reliable communication and partnership with that dog to create a very reliable off-leash behavior as well. So primary product that we use is the mini Educator here from eCollar Tech. A lot of balance trainers around the country have moved towards this product because the mini Educator has 1 to 100 levels. It's a nice compact size, and it really allows you to fit dogs that are under 10 pounds all the way up to 120. So the receiver box on the collar here, I'll start by explaining a little bit. This is the receiver box here, and it has a light to indicate where the dog is if they're out at night. You can turn that little LED light on. These are the contact points here that are on the underside of the receiver box, and it comes standard with some short ones as well as an additional set of longer contact points if your dog has longer fur and you need to get in there a little bit deeper in order for that to touch their skin. These are the contact points, and you would just unscrew them and change them and put new ones on. I'll show you those in just a moment. But as you can see, the receiver box, it's not terribly large, fits in the palm of my hand. So depending on the weight of your dog, their substance of their neck, you can go pretty small with pretty little dogs in this collar. You would just change the strap, of course, to something a little more delicate, a little smaller, all the way up to those larger dogs where the larger the dog, just the more indiscreet this collar box becomes, right? Nestles right in up high on the neck. You want that to be right up high and positioned kind of on either side here, like so, or like so. All right, it's very important that these contact points do make connection on both sides with the dog's skin. If they're not touching the skin on both sides, that sensation won't get through. The key things to understand here about the remote collar and why we love this device so much is because it is not a shock collar. There's no shocking or zapping of dogs with this tool. Shock collars in the old days had typically 1 to 3 levels, and so the increments of adjustment were extremely dramatic, very significant to go from level 1 to level 2, for example, on the old collars. You couldn't control very well the sensation of that collar, the timing. A lot of details were really missing there, and most folks would apply that collar, bop their dog at a very high level for something they didn't like, and the dog would have no clue where that came from. They wouldn't know how to process it, they wouldn't know what to make of it, and they would certainly become fearful and uncomfortable around whatever it was that they were thinking of or doing in the moment that the sensation came. The key with modern remote collars is the technology is the same of a TENS unit, which is a stimulator device for muscle and nerve pain. So a transepidermal neurological stimulator. I'm going to go ahead and make that up. But you check it out. TENS unit. T-E-N-S. Okay? TENS unit. A lot of our physical therapy people out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. A TENS unit is a sensation that, again, is localized. The person does not feel stimulation throughout their entire body. They're not shocked through their entire body when that unit is turned on and creating a connection there to get those muscles and nerves going. So just like that, on the receiver box of your modern remote collar from eCollar Tech, this mini Educator model, for example, the dog gets a sensation right at those contact points. That's it. It's not throughout the entire body. The other thing is that because we have 1 to 100 levels, we're able to work at the lowest possible level that your dog senses. We're not cranking that collar onto an arbitrary 40, 60, 80 and blasting the dog for something we don't want them to do. we're layering this information on at the lowest possible level, that lowest little tickle. We're layering that onto the obedience commands so the dog understands exactly what it is that's happening when they feel that information, exactly where it came from, the fact that it's to follow up with or reinforce obedience commands, so that if we have to go to a bigger register level, they know what to do with that. They know that it means, I wasn't paying attention. I need to go find mom. I should have done what dad asked, right? So the receiver box on the mini Educator is like so. The fit needs to be nice and snug so that the dog has contact on both points. If you have a thick furred dog, a German Shepherd, a Husky, we would recommend that you change these points entirely to a different contact point, like a thick fur contact point. I have an example here for you actually all prepared. Thick fur contact points have kind of a little nub at the end that's much more, it's much finer, right? So let me see here. I'm gonna try to get this focused for you. Much finer there so that it can get through the fur. Our video's not gonna cooperate, sorry guys. It's much finer though, so it can get through the fur and it can make a better contact there on the skin, as opposed to the little one here that's on the receiver box on its own. It's much thicker, right? You can see that it's a much thicker point and it's much softer, where this one is more a little bit sharper. It's not super duper sharp, but it's a little sharper. So you would want to change the contact points depending on the breed of dog. You also can put buffers on here or stim reducers to get the level even lower than 1 if you've got a super sensitive dog. Now, when I put this collar on myself, I typically don't feel it until close to about 8 or 10. Most of our dogs in board and train situation, even with aggression problems, high amped, high arousal, intense, difficult dogs, are working under a level 10. So that very soft, tiny little tickle is what we're looking for, that the dog shows us that they sense, and we're starting there and we're layering that on obedience. Again, this allows us to give a bigger level piece of information later on if we need to give them a bigger correction, and they're not startled by it, they're not confused by it, they know exactly what it means and what they should do with the information, all right? So receiver box and remote. The other features on this collar, I'm going to turn it on for you here. So there's an on-off button in the back. I'm going to press and hold that down and it's going to light up the remote. It's going to tell me full charge here based on the green blinking, and we're going to have a little reading here on the level that we're sitting at right now. That's adjusted here. Okay, guys? So this is your dial here to change your levels. You can lock the level by pressing and holding down, and then it does not change. So if you're training somebody and you want them to stay on that level, or you have it in your pocket, for example, and it accidentally gets, adjusted too easily and you want to make sure you're staying on the level, you can lock it. If this happens to you and you have this product and you can't figure out why you can't adjust the level, you probably locked it. So press and hold down again and it will go back to where you can adjust the levels, okay? You'll also see that there's an M and a C on that display screen. That stands for momentary and continuous. And what that's connected to is what these two stimulating buttons do, all right? Based on having it at M and C, which is how I leave all of the remotes for my clients, you have a momentary stim here on the black button. When I press it down, it only goes 1 time. See that? Watch here. Press down, dog gets 1 tap. If I press down on the red button and hold, dog gets consecutive taps. It's going tap, 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 tap for about 10 or 12 seconds. The way that we teach is to simply use the red button only. If you just concentrate on the red button, you can tap or you can press and hold based on what your dog requires and what you're trying to communicate to your dog in training, okay? So red button only is what most of our clients leave being trained to do, press and hold or single tap, all right? Now, if you use the black button, it's not the end of the world at all, guys. It's just gonna give 1 tap. So you can't really go wrong here. The other feature that this collar offers, though, is a boost mode, which we do not enable for our clients, and we don't recommend that you do unless you become super savvy with how to use this tool. The boost function allows you to set one of these buttons at about 60 levels higher than your working level so that it's ready for you. Let's say you have a super reactive dog or aggressive dog, and you're wanting to have something ready right there and available to address any bit of outburst or disconnect from your dog. That would be the reason for setting that boost mode. Again, we do not set that up for our clients. We do not advocate that you use it. It takes a lot of time to get comfortable with how to handle this tool, and it's easy to make a mistake on which button you press or to accidentally press a button when you don't mean to. You don't want to be doing that at a level 80 when your poor dog does not need it. So don't bother with that boost function unless or until you're really savvy and you're very comfortable with how to work that collar. The other feature of this collar is it has a tone button, which is the vibration. Again, we typically don't use this with most of our clients. We use it to layer information with dogs who can't hear, or if we want to pattern a low-level correction with that vibration on certain dogs, that works really well for them. That's enough of a surprise or an interruption in behavior to get their attention back and redirect them to what we want them to do. But that's what that button does. Now, if I turn the receiver on, I'll be able to demonstrate the tone button. In order to turn the two products on, you'll see that there are red magnets here on each of the devices. If you line them up, just like so, you should get a green light on the receiver. Can't see and demo. Line them up. There we go. So we got a green light. So now I know based on the blinking green light that my receiver box is charged and on. And I confirm that by using my tone button, the single black button. You can see that it's talking to the collar. So my recommendation to my clients is always that you get up in the morning, you turn your remote on, you pair your two devices, and then you press the tone button so that you know they're talking to each other. And then you're good to go. You put the collar on your dog and you rock your day, all right? At nighttime, you would press and hold the same on-off button to turn your remote off. Your remote can be on or off when you turn off your receiver. It doesn't matter. So in the off mode, I can still pair those magnets. Again, let's see if I can demo it here for you. Pair those magnets and I turn off my collar. No blinking light, okay? So I can do that with the remote on or off. Doesn't matter, but I do have to line up the magnets here to turn the receiver off on the collar, all right? So there are a couple of other features on this collar. If I turn that remote back on, pressing and holding the button on the back, and I repair to turn the receiver on, I'll show you the light. So back here, the same on-off button has a light. If you tap that button, you'll activate the LED light. And this is worn like so on the dog, okay? So if your dog is out running around off leash at night, you know where they are. If they get into trouble out in the yard in a corner somewhere, you have an idea of what's going on because you can see your dog. You would just tap that button on the back to adjust whether that light is on again or not. Very, very simple. There are only two buttons on the back of this remote, okay? That M and C button is the one that got us our momentary and continuous setting. If I press it again, it will cycle through momentary, continuous, and both. Momentary, continuous, and both. Again, if you're a client of mine and you've just finished board and train, or your dog is in training and you're going to pick them up, you're going to find that we will have you on momentary and continuous both. And this is how I want your collar, your remote to look going forward, all right? And you're just going to concentrate on using the red button. So I hope that gives you guys some good information about the mini Educator device and why we choose e-collar. We really just wanted to create a basic video to introduce you to the product and how it's used, or rather how it's started, turned on. You have accessory options, of course, for changing the contact points on that collar, so really watch out for that. If you've got a dog with thick fur or just a structural issue, maybe they have a metal allergy, there are hypoallergenic contact points, so lots of options for getting this customized for you. And then within the collar box, they do send you an additional longer set if you have a longer fur dog. But if it gets thick, you're going to want to go to the thick fur contact points, which is a separate product that you need to order. Your collar box also, of course, comes with a charger that has two prong points, so you charge both devices from the same charger. When you do charge those collars, make sure that the little ports in the back that you open up and put the charger in are nice and secured afterwards. You want that to be nice and smooth. This one doesn't matter as much as this one, of course, because when you go to dress your dog, you don't want to leave that little port there for the charger open. It could irritate the skin. Okay, so make sure that's nice and secure. Press that back down. I do believe I went over some of the other collar strap accessories, but I can't remember for sure, guys. So make sure you do check out eCollar Technologies website, ecollar.com, and you'll find more information on the strap replacements. The ones that I like, though, have the quick release component, so it makes it really easy to dress your dog. Again, if you're a client of mine, your dog will be going home with the strap having been changed to a quick release strap, so it's nice and easy for you to dress your dog every time you get on. Make sure that it makes sure that the collar box is snug enough and nice and secure up on the dog's neck. All right. So if you have any questions, guys, you can always feel free to contact us. But check out our website for more information. We just wanted to introduce to you the Mini Educator, which is our most popular e-collar that we send home on our dogs who've been training with us in Board and Train. It's an awesome device. Gives you lots of freedom, lots of peace of mind and consistency that you can go out and have great adventures with your dog.